it's Lauren Gabrielle, and this is the Everyday Magic vlog. I am way behind on these. I don't even know how many days it has been. But since then, I moved from a homestay that was away from the beach, kind of tucked away and quiet, and an ideal, beautiful little tiny apartment for the length of my treatments. And then yesterday, actually, I moved over to this new location, and it didn't occur to me to share what that place looked like because it was in someone's home, but they rent it out as a homestay, so it is a business. So next time I'll show you around wherever it is that I'm staying. So I've moved into this little hotel room on the beach. There's the window that opens out to the beach side, and it's just here, I'll start at the front door. There's the front door, a little refrigerator with all my stuff, some coconut oil that I bought from a lady at the beach this morning for 500 rupees, which is $5, and some cashews that were 300 rupees, which is about $3. So that's that stuff. And these big giant bottles of water are kind of a staple here. And I'll kind of back up, just a basic bed, clothes drying from yoga this morning. And yeah, very, very basic room. They did bring me in a little table yesterday when they brought my kettle, and they brought me all of these tea things. And so that was lovely. And so this might be interesting to some of you. This is the only storage there isn't really a closet, but these little packing cubes are how I am able to carry everything that I own in one backpack. So you might find that interesting. And I'm noticing that I'm not being very neat. Oh, and there's the backpack in question. All right. Okay. Little sink. There are only 2 plugs in the room. One that is here that you're looking at now, and the other one that's got the refrigerator plugged in. So I have to unplug the refrigerator to plug in the electric coffee maker. So that's the bathroom door. Isn't it cute? A little bear and a little cot. And then the basic little bathroom. You can almost sit on the toilet and take a shower at the same time. That's a little window. And there is an air conditioning unit. So it's a very simple, basic room. There's me. Bye. But here's what makes it all worthwhile. This is my view. Gorgeous little outdoor space to sit. And that big jar is collecting the condensation from the air conditioner. My beach clothes hanging up to dry. And we'll just give you a view of the beach from one end to the other here. I can get a little bit closer. So you can see the amazing lighthouse and shots. And this is the gringo end of the beach. There's lots of white people wearing bathing suits, but for the most part, Indian people. Maybe you can see that woman there. If they want to go in the ocean, they wear their clothes. It's very modest country for women. But they don't seem to mind that. I haven't met any Americans. But I did meet one woman from the Netherlands, and I met a woman from Russia who was here. So that is where I'm staying now. And my favorite thing to report is, so I moved here yesterday and had my treatments in the afternoon, and then I had dinner at a little place called the Rock Cafe. And I'll share pictures of this little dog. But as I was starting to eat my meal, I looked over and he was just sitting beside me, very politely, just looking at me like, do I get to have some? And so I started sneaking him parts of my chicken and, thinking that we would get in trouble, but no, mine did. And the owner was sitting over beside me, and I asked if the dog had a name, and he does. And so I'm feeling better about the plight of the dogs here. Not that there aren't still ones that are struggling and starving and all this stuff. But many of them are just treated like citizens. This is what they do. They run the beach. They wander around. People feed them. They find a doorway to sleep in. And you probably couldn't see under the beach chairs, but they're usually put in pairs. And usually there's a dog just sleeping underneath them, um, waiting to see if maybe there are treats or just enjoying the shade or enjoying the company. But they're perfectly at home and they play with each other and all those kinds of things. And when you see the picture of the dog, you'll see he's got a green patch on his head of like ink. And the owner said that their English people come and gather them up and vaccinate them. And then they mark them with this green so that they know this one's already been vaccinated. Someone else seemed to think that that meant they were neutered, but I don't really think that happens very much. I have seen very few males that were not intact, if you know what I mean. So, my treatments ended today. The leech therapy was amazing. I still have a little mark here. I bled for a couple of days. That was a little eep. But no infections, nothing to worry about for follow up. And I think that catches you up for today. I'm going to spend a few days here. And again, this is Kovalam Beach in Kerala. And then on Wednesday, I go to another town called Varkala, which is less touristy. The tourism here is mainly around Ayurveda. So it's not a wild party city. Further north, there is a town called Goa, which apparently is very much a party city and the place where most foreigners go to visit. But Varkala is in between. So I will see what that is about. But being here in this little neighborhood, it's like that there's street vendors everywhere. That's kind of I kind of struggle with that. My friend Maggie will remember in Mexico, the little kids came selling their little trinkets and I gave them all my money and I made Maggie and all of our friends give them all their money. I have since developed more resistance to sales pressure, but it is still difficult because, these people are out here trying to make a living selling scarves and dresses and little trinkets. And I did cave and buy little gold elephant that is still packed in my altar things. But yeah, so being here immersed in this community, I'm seeing the same faces all the time. And I think in one of the recent stories, I mentioned the man that had essentially no legs. He's just very deformed. I ran across him. He was begging, and I gave him 100 rupees, and I bought a couple of scarves. But for the most part, I have been able to resist all of that. Oh, I did buy I told you about the coconut oil. I bought that on the beach today from a very persistent little lady who also sells mangoes and pineapples and bananas and papayas on the beach. So, so yeah, getting to understand and immerse myself in the feeling of a community, even though it is a touristy kind of place. That I'm still meeting people that live here, work here, and go about their daily business. And then yesterday, last thing I'll tell you for this long vlog, I met a lady at the same cafe where I was having dinner with the little dog whose name starts with a C. There was one other foreign woman there also eating. And I ran into her on the sidewalk a little bit later and we started talking. And she doesn't travel the world all the time, but she spends 6 months at home in the Netherlands and then 6 months out staying put, slow traveling. She stays here for as long as she's allowed to. And then she'll go to Sri Lanka or wherever. But the very cool thing, another cool thing is that she invited me to an international storytelling hour that is happening tonight at this beautiful palace. I'm planning to make the new demonstration video for Daily Body Magic there. So fingers crossed that I'm allowed to do that. All right. I think that catches you up with where I am and what I'm doing. More hopefully tomorrow from Kovalam Beach. In the meantime, make some everyday magic and make the sacred ordinary. All my love.